Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming this evening, and welcome to our Festive Funding Holiday webinar. I'm really grateful that you're all here and ready to hear some really amazing fundraising ideas that you can use in your holiday plans. And I want to preface this webinar by wishing everybody here tonight a very happy Giving Tuesday. Today is Giving Tuesday, which means a lot of charitable organizations, individual fundraisers are really taking advantage of the giving spirit and acquire donations around this time of year. So this is really the kickoff point or the launching day of our holiday fundraising campaign, and really taking advantage of the festive spirit, the giving, generous, kind spirit that goes around this time of year. So with that being said, we're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to take advantage of this time of year, which is prime time fundraising time, and really get some fundraisers injected into our plan. So that's going to be what we're going to go over today. We're going to focus on really holiday-themed ideas. I know it's not quite December yet, but it's the end of November, which is a perfect time to really start getting everything in place and organized for your holiday fundraisers if you haven't already. We want to make sure that we're getting everything in order as soon as possible so that we've got a really well-planned fundraiser or a campaign into the month of December. I want to start off by introducing myself if I haven't met you. My name is Amanda, and I'm your fundraising coach. I've been at Me2We for about 2 years now. I've got the amazing opportunity to travel and facilitate numerous trips with Me2We. So I know the value of these trips, and I know how important and spectacular and eye-opening they are, not only for yourselves, but for the people that you're going to talk about your trip when you get home. So a little bit about my experience and my journey. Again, I've been with Me2We for about 2 years, but I've done so much traveling before then. I studied political science at the University of Toronto, and was at University of Toronto that I actually embarked on my first volunteer travel opportunity, which was in Guatemala. And I was just like you. I was in the same kind of position that you are in. I fundraised for that trip myself as well. So I got lots of experience fundraising and traveling as well. So I'm hoping and really excited to share all of that experience and passion with you. I also had the opportunity to travel again to Indonesia a few years later, and lo and behold, I fundraised for that trip as well. So just kind of, further embedded my experience and my real passion for fundraising. I think it's a great experience not only to get yourself on a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful trip, but you're also going to learn some extremely valuable lessons along the way, and really take an ownership in this experience. These are some things that you're going to be able to use on resumes and talk about in interviews going forward. These are fundraising skills are going to be things that are going to put you head and shoulders above the rest of your classmates, because you have this great experience talking to donors, maybe selling something to make a profit, which is entrepreneurial. So these are some really awesome skills that I think are going to not only get you to where you need to be on an amazing life-changing trip, but it's also going to teach you some really great things. Is really to use my experience and some of the things that I've seen work well with myself, but also with the hundreds, actually thousands of fundraisers that I've worked with in the past. The ideas that we're going to go over today are really tried, tested, and true. So things that have worked for me and things that have worked well for other youth fundraisers that have traveled with Me2We before. Now I've talked a little bit about myself and my experience, and the fun stuff, but not really the fun stuff yet. So just a little bit of housekeeping. So there's some things that I wanted to bring up before I start the webinar to make sure that we're all on track. The first order of business is, one, invite your parents. If they're home, if they're around, this is a great time for, you to sit down together and kind of talk about how these fundraising ideas are going to work well for your entire family. And this is a great way to engage your parents and involve them so that they can help you reach your fundraising goal. Invite them over. Also, take notes for later. It's very important that you take notes throughout the webinar, because oftentimes you see an idea that's really exciting, but a couple hours later you may forget some of the details that we talked about surrounding that idea. Now, don't worry, we do record all of these webinars and post them on YouTube, but it's great to make sure that you're following along and staying engaged with the webinar by keeping some notes along the way. Things are jumping out to you, questions that you might have for later. So it's great to make sure that you have some notes that you can use to follow along the webinar. Also know that you're currently on mute. Now, you'll only be able to hear my wonderful voice here. Unfortunately, you won't be able to hear each other. That's because I put you all on mute so that the background noise in your home or in your library, wherever you're listening to this webinar around, it's not going to disrupt anybody else. So you are currently on mute. Now, that being said, at the end of the webinar, we'll give everybody an opportunity to perhaps share some ideas that they might want to talk a little bit more about, or we will give you a chance to kind of go off of mute so that you can ask some questions or share some ideas. So we'll give you that space at the end of the webinar. Next section, you can simply log back in using the same details and join back with us where we currently are, as this is something that does happen when internet connections drop, so no worries. You can just log back in. If you can, go ahead and type that into the chat room, and I'll answer those questions at the end of the webinar so that we can make sure that we're going through the webinar in an appropriate amount of time. And then at the end, if you have any questions, just feel free to shoot them into the chat window. It looks just like that. You can send a chat to everyone, the entire group, or you can send a chat to myself only. That way I can only see the question, and then I can answer those towards the end of the webinar. If there is a question that people seem to be answering or asking together, then I'm more than happy to answer it out loud so everybody can hear. If you can't hear me right now, let me know in the chat room and I will help you troubleshoot the problem. So I'm just going to put on pause here to make sure everybody is able to hear. If you're not able to hear in the webinar, just write into the chat room here and I'll help you through. Great, we're going to keep going. So then we are going to talk a little bit about the goal of today's webinar. So last week, in the last webinar, we covered the 5 fundraising bucket strategy and really fundraising 101. We talked about how to get started and tips and tricks on to make sure that you're taking advantage of maximizing your fundraising. So that's what we covered in our last webinar. If you did miss that webinar, we do have the webinar posted on YouTube. I know the version that we recorded had a little bit of some sound problems, but we are going to upload a better quality version this week so that you can go back and revisit the fundraising bucket strategy. In the webinar, we're going to talk about how the holidays are a prime time for fundraising. We mentioned just before that today is Giving Tuesday, which really launches really into this giving season in this prime time of fundraising. We're going to review the 5 fundraising bucket strategy to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And then we're going to have a quick discussion of fundraising ideas for you to use this holiday season that are going to be from all 5 fundraising buckets. So we're going to make sure that you're ready and set to kick your fundraising into high gear this holiday season. Great. I wanted to just kind of quickly go over the 5 fundraising bucket strategies. And if you've spoken to me, if you've attended a webinar, you have likely heard me talk about the 5 fundraising bucket strategy. Now, this isn't a science. This is something that I've created to drawing upon my past experience and the experiences of fundraisers. So this is the way that you're going to maximize your fundraising initiatives through the next few months. So those fundraising buckets are online fundraising, and partnerships, selling profit, fundraising, and other fundraising activities. Now, the point of fundraising bucket strategy is that if you're doing 1 or 2 different ideas from each of those fundraising buckets, you're going to maximize your fundraising initiative. So, for example, you've got an online fundraising page, you got a list of different businesses that you're approaching for sponsorships, or sell an item to make a profit at some craft sales. You're doing a fundraising event in the new year, and you're also doing some other fundraising activities on the side, like babysitting or dogging. That's what you maximize fundraising. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to plan one fundraising event and hope to make all of your money from that one. What you want to do is you want to have a bunch of different things on the go at the same time to make sure that you reach your fundraising goal as quickly and as seamlessly as possible. So we're going to 5 fundraising buckets and how we're going to maximize these buckets through the holiday season. So the first fundraising bucket that we talked about is online fundraising. Now, when you think of online fundraising, it's a great tool for you to collect donations, but there's so many other things that you can do on an online fundraising page. Exciting, and I'm super excited to announce that Me2We is coming out with brand new exciting fundraising pages this week. So these pages should be launched December 1st, which is Thursday. So this weekend, you should be able to log into your trips portal, and after you've completed your application, that is, and click on a button right on your dashboard that says launch your online fundraising page. It'll be really easy and really exciting. You'll be able to launch your page and set up something that looks like this. This is exciting because this image that you see on the screen is hot off the press. This is what your page will look like, and you'll be the first people to actually see the design of this page by the way. So it's really exciting. This is what you'll be using. So you can customize some words there at the top, which talks a little bit about who you are and what you're passionate about. You'll even be able to upload a video of yourself to the right of that word that you speaking to why you're so passionate about this experience and what you're fundraising for. There's a bar so you can track your progress. There's some information for your donors about Me2We trips and what makes Me2We trips different. So this is going to be really great for you to be able to collect donations towards your trip and provide a link to your online fundraising page to all of your donors. Now, like I said, these pages are going to be launched on December 1st, and they'll be ready for Friday for you to launch from your trips portal. So they're not ready yet, but they will be ready later this week. So keep an eye on your portal dashboard and be able to launch your page from there. If you have launched an online fundraising page specifically through CrowdRise, we can actually go ahead and transition your CrowdRise page to a Me2We fundraising page. Just reach out to myself and we can walk you through that transition and what that will look like. But that's going to be really exciting. You're going to be able to use your online fundraising page to social media, really get the word out online, sending e-blasts right through your online fundraising page to your entire network. So, something that you can do right away is start collecting email addresses so that you can send the link to your online fundraising page to everybody through email. Also, hand-make holiday cards with a link to your online fundraising page on the holiday card, which will alert all of your friends and family that you're hoping to receive donations to your trip this rather than presents for the holidays. Fundraisers use the online fundraising page as a point of sale system, which means they will sell an item and they'll collect the payment for that item through their online fundraising page and then hand deliver the item. So last year I had 2 sisters who fundraised by selling handmade soup. They took payment for their soup on their online fundraising page, and then they hand delivered their soup to the people who ordered them themselves. Lots of great ways that you can use your online fundraising page. This is going to be a really great tool, especially when you're sitting around the holiday table, talking a little bit about what you're planning on doing and how you're fundraising for that. This will be a great tool, for that you may not see often. You can talk about your campaign or dinner, and then hand them the link to your fundraising page, and they can donate maybe when they get home that evening. So this will be a great way for them to donate to your trip, and the funds that you receive on your online fundraising page here, your Me to We online fundraising page, go directly to your trip, so you don't have to worry about collecting cash or checks. The fundraising bucket is sponsorships. Sponsorships are, I explain what a sponsorship is. Think about if you ever played soccer, or if you've ever seen a local soccer team, and they've got their jerseys, and on their jerseys is the name of a business. Now, this is a sponsor. Not a business wants to put their name on a local soccer team's jersey. Why would they want to donate to your trip? Well, when you think about it this way, this local business, a small local business, is donating to the soccer team, buying their jerseys, for example. In exchange for the donation to their team, or the donation towards the cost of the jerseys, the small local business gets the name printed on the front or the back of the jersey. Now, when people come to watch the team play, they see the jerseys and they see the name of the local business, and they think, great time I need to, buy a lawnmower, I'm going to go to this home hardware store because they sponsored a team that, I was watching one day. So it's good word of mouth, and it's good advertising for a business to want to sponsor, a team or your trip, because they're going to get good word of mouth, and they're going to get value in exchange for that donation. So some of the ways that you can offer value in exchange for a donation, think of, you can wear a t-shirt when you're on your trip with the logo of the company that sponsors you, take a picture and post it on social media. Or you can write, a couple of positive Yelp reviews in exchange for a donation to your trip. Or you could come back after your trip and hold a workshop or a presentation for the group that chose to sponsor you in exchange for a donation. So that you can offer value in exchange for support, and these are great ways to start the conversation with potential sponsors. I wanted to talk a little bit about some different targets that you should maybe start having on your list, and I would recommend. I'm a very listy person. I like making lists and having calendars, and I'm very notey. I have lots of notes, and I like to stay organized as much as possible. So I always recommend that a fundraiser puts there, and I call it a hit list. It's not a hit list per se, but it's a list of all the targets that you have, all of the places that you want to approach looking for support. So here's a couple of different potential groups that you can approach looking for support. So a great place to start is always with community associations and local community groups like Rotary Clubs, Lift Clubs, Optimist Clubs. You can actually Google to see the what's closest in your community and connect with them directly. I always suggest it's always best to find a name of the individual you're looking to connect with. So maybe the board of directors or the franchise owner. These are the types of people that you're going to want to connect with. Also recommend to start thinking about your individual network. So where do you have family, friends, neighbors who might work for small local businesses or larger businesses that you can connect with the business through one of your networks? Maybe you have some classmates, maybe they're their parents, maybe you play on a hockey team, maybe there's some of your teammates, some of your teammates, or you have a boss at your local retail store, somebody who manages your manager at store. Maybe they can connect you with somebody who might be able to donate to your trip. Explore all these avenues. Use all of your networks. Ask teachers, ask old teachers, new teachers, any in your community. The tourists that usually meet at the pub you always go to, or something like that. Leave no stone unturned. It never hurts to ask, and if they aren't able to support you, they'll simply say no, and then you just move on. So explore your network in its entirety. always to start thinking local as well. So go around your local main street. Think about places that you frequent, places that your family goes to. So doctors, dentists, chiropractors, they've been friends in the past. My hairstylist was able to donate to my first trip. She gave me a lovely donation as well as some products that I used in a gift basket I then raffled off at an event. Pros and spas, maybe restaurants again that you might go to. Maybe you know somebody who is a waitress or a hostess at a restaurant. Connect with them. Local pubs, small cafes, galleries in your community, art galleries, gyms, maybe, or any type of gym or studio, like a yoga studio. It's always best to connect with, like, down the local main street. Think of places that you go to, and then put those on your hit list. And then when you've got all of that all said and done, connect with your local newspaper and radio station. I've seen a lot of fundraisers find success connecting with local newspapers who really want to feature your story. You've got a great story. Every single one of you. You're all on this trip and taking this experience for a reason. And it's so amazing to be able to feature and talk about your passions and what you hope to accomplish through this and what you want to do when you come home. These are golden stories for newspapers, especially local newspapers. So connect with your local paper, see if they're interested in featuring your story, and maybe you can talk a little bit about your fundraising in that article. So if you're having an event, you can promote the event, or if you're selling something, you can promote that, or you can just the larger net out there looking for sponsorships or potential business partnerships. So I always say you never know until you ask, and sometimes you're going to know. It's inevitable. It's the truth. Don't let that discourage you. Keep your head up, because you will hear those yeses. You will get that support. You will see support. Don't let the no's bring you down, because you'll have to hear a couple of no's in order to hear a yes. But keep going, and you never know until you try. So those are tips for sponsorships. And when you really kind of break it down, every donation that you get from a family member or somebody who's coming over to the house for the holidays is potentially a sponsorship. So ask questions instead of holiday gifts this year. Why don't you write an email to your friends and family, people who would you'd normally be on their gift list, and let them know that you're hoping not to get any gifts this year. Are able to, then you'd prefer them to donate maybe to your online fundraising page, or donate to your trip in another way. That would be greatly appreciated. So you can do this for birthdays, for all kinds of different holidays, or different graduation parties. But this is a great time of year because a lot of people do get those kind of gifts around the holidays that they can not exchange, but they can ask family and friends for a gift. Into the third fundraising bucket, which is selling an item to make a profit. So selling something to make a profit. This is fundraising sales 101. This is a really exciting fundraising bucket, because what you're doing here is you're really creating an item that you're selling. That's entrepreneurial. This is business skills 101 as well. These are things that are going to really help you in the future, especially if sales are something that you're interested in. So we're going to walk through some really fun ways that you can sell something to make a profit. So some really great ideas that I've seen in the past. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about the how and where. So when you think about selling something to make a profit, a lot of people kind of have these great ideas. But the question is, how do you go about doing it, and where do you sell your items? So to start, I always think of how to sell an item is think of, especially around this time of year, where people are going to be selling these type of handmade crafts. So think of craft sales, markets, indoor farmers markets, bazaars. Think of online. A lot of people are setting up online stores or online marketplaces. If you're already attending an event, maybe it's a school production or something that your community's version of the Nutcracker. Maybe you can set up a little booth or a stand to sell your products there. use your network. Maybe you've got friends and family who can take your product on your behalf. But these are great ways, to kind of get fit. You can sell your items. Think of your church, your local church, community centers, even at school, the local shops. And I thought a tree nursery, somebody who's selling Christmas trees on, at a smaller tree nursery, maybe they would be interested in letting you have a hot chocolate stand or a coffee stand, so that people who are coming to buy a Christmas tree outside and they're chilly, they buy a cup of hot chocolate from you on the side. I've heard of Etsy. It's a great online marketplace that you can set up. You can actually take photos of your product and upload them to Etsy, and it's an online store that you can then take orders for your product on. It's a really great, it's really cool, great skills like design and skills that you're building on in order to sell your product. So again, these are great skills, and so we're moving, you can where you're going to sell your item and how you're going to sell it, and how you're going to advertise. But we have to think of what we're going to sell, and I always think the best products are things that are handmade. So let's look at some fun examples together. Start with some easy ones, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard of our Me to We Rafikis. These are wonderful little bracelets that are hand beaded by mamas in Kenya. So going on a trip to Kenya, this is a really great seller. This is something that you can use to talk about what you're actually going to be doing while you're in Kenya. You'll actually be sitting with the mamas and beading your own Rafiki bracelet. We employ thousands of women in Kenya. This is an amazing empowerment opportunity for them, but also an income generating opportunity, so that they can then start pulling in income into their own household and control the flow of the money that their household receives. So it's a really great thing for them. It's great for us too. So you can purchase a pack of fundraising Rafikis with 10 bracelets. You can purchase that pack for $50. You can also purchase each individual Rafiki bracelet that you see here for $5 online. You sell those bracelets for $10, and then you're making a $5 profit on each bracelet. So you're buying the kit for $50, you sell each bracelet for $10, that's a $50 profit on top of the $50 you're spending on the kit. So it's a great way for you to just chip away at your fundraising goal or fill any gaps that you need to meet your fundraising goal as well. On the back of each of these Rafiki Rafiki fundraising chains, I'm just looking at the health one because I read. On the back of this is a track your impact number, which your donors can then plug into the internet, and they can see how they're not only supporting your trip, but they're supporting a wee village in over villages that you might be visiting. They're supporting one of these pillars. So perhaps they're supporting an income generating project, or they're supporting a health clinic in Kenya, or agricultural projects in India. So they will see exactly what they're supporting as well as your trip. So it's win-win. Actually, it's win-win-win. So you're making money for your trip. They're supporting your trip, and they're also supporting a wee village. So that's a win-win-win. From Me to We Rafikis, as amazing as the Me to We Rafikis are, you can also make your own jewelry or handmade items. I've seen this done really, really well in the past. So fundraisers who've used beads and made bracelets, or made earrings or brooches, or relationship bracelets with the ties and knots. So there's lots of different handmade jewelry options that you can do. So if this is something that you're already interested in doing, why not make a few extra and sell them to make a profit for your fundraiser or for your trip. So keeping in mind the first slide that we talked about, where you're going to be selling all of these items. So keep those places in mind, and think about where as we're talking about these different things that you can sell, think about where would be the best place to sell them. Obviously, these handmade pieces of handmade jewelry would be great at a holiday bazaar or craft sale, because people would be interested in buying these as a gift for the holidays. very, very popular, these knitted headbands right now, but we've seen some really great knitted items, and I get really excited when I talk about knitting, because if you have, I may have mentioned this last time, but I learned how to knit last year. Actually learned how to knit over YouTube. It was quite interesting. Pretty easy. So if I can do it, you can do it. So these headbands, infinity scarves are all the rage right now, but there's so many neat things that you can actually knit. Last year I learned how to knit little tea cozies, or finger puppets, or little cell phone covers. There's lots of really great knitting patterns that you can find online or even on YouTube. Super simple knitting or crocheting, and it's relatively inexpensive. Buy some inexpensive yarn, and you can knit these headbands and sell each of them for sometimes over $25. Just about, you've probably seen these types of at the mall or at different retail stores, and they're not cheap. So you could sell these handmade, beautiful headbands with these lovely little buttons for anywhere from $25 to $30, depending on where you're selling them as well. Moving to the image, that's a crafty holiday wreath that I think is super unique, using different of different tea bags as the actual holiday wreath. But again, you could use candies, you could use all kinds of recycled materials to create your holiday wreaths. They're really unique. This is something that you could take a look at Pinterest, and I'm sure you could find thousands of different ways that you could create your own little holiday wreath. That's really unique, and a lot of people would be interested in purchasing. Well, homemade dog treats. I found a recipe. I have a miniature dog, and he is obsessed with dog treats. So I found a really easy recipe on Pinterest as well. Basic meal and peanut butter and flour, and you bake them. Very simple, 3 or 4 different ingredients. You bake them, and you could wrap them in red ribbons or little cellophane bags, and you can sell these around the holidays, because people love shopping for their pets at the around the holidays, and I'm guilty. I often purchase my dog way too many gifts. I mean, he is a dog, so that we absolutely wild on gifts for pets is telling. So take advantage of that, and target dog parks or little local pet shops or pet stores or grooming shops, places that might sell your dog treats on. Like, who doesn't love dogs and animals? So this is a great thing for a lot of animal lovers to do. Plus, it's fun. A dog, they would be the best taste tester and would love you forever. What I did to fundraise for one of my trips is I sat at a grandmother who is Italian, and we made these amazing little mason jars full of homemade pasta sauce. Especially around the holidays, people are quite busy, tired, and they don't have time to cook a homemade meal. This really works well around the holidays. So pre-made bulk food. So it can be sauces, like I mentioned before, the sisters who sold soup. It could be the different pre-made bulk things like cookies or samosas. I've seen those work really well in the past. This is a great time of year to be able to sell these, because people are super busy running around from point A to point B, and they are interested in purchasing your bulk sauce, especially if it's super delicious, like mine is. Tried, tested, and true fundraising idea for this time of year is baked goods, and having either having a bake sale or a cookie exchange, or selling your baked goods in bulk as like hostess gifts, or for people to purchase as a gift for somebody else. So I think this worked really well, not only with baked goods, but things like caramel squares, or little chocolate pops, or something like that, Christmas bark, or something along the lines of chocolatey truffles. I had a fundraiser who sold truffles. She put them in like boxes, and it was a really, think about how much people spend on boxes of chocolates and truffles if that's something that you are able to do. Take advantage of that and put a little red ribbon on it, and that's make it festive. And I can spend hours online looking at Christmas cookie recipes and all kinds of stuff like that. It's so much fun. You'll get lost, I promise. There's so many different unique ideas. You could do shortbread squares. You can do, sugar cookies that are in the shape of reindeers, pretzel ears. So many amazing different holiday cookies. So if you're into baking, I definitely recommend doing something like that. You could sell them at school. You could sell them, all kinds of different events. Maybe you've got a Christmas party or a holiday party that you can bring your baked goods to and sell those on the side. So baked goods are obviously tried, tested, and true fundraising event. People love bake sales. People tend to eat lots of sweets around this time of year. Bulk prepared food to baked goods. We're forgetting the beverage. So think of what people want around this time of the year is something to warm their insides. So think about hot beverages. I've seen hot apple cider do really, really well around this time of year. And every year we go by our Christmas tree, there's always somebody selling hot apple cider that we are so in love with. Why not that be you? You could be the person selling hot apple cider when people are picking up their Christmas trees outside. It's chilly. They get nice warm apple cider from you. Maybe it's got a little cinnamon stick in it. You could either, a lot of people actually make hot apple cider in crock pots, so you can bring your crock pot and serve hot apple cider just with a ladle, or you might want to heat up your hot apple cider, maybe go into a Tim Hortons or a Starbucks and ask them to donate one of those coffee coolers, and you can fill that with your hot apple cider, and it will keep it warm. So you can transport it to different locations, whether it's the tree nursery or maybe it's your school's production of the Nutcracker, and you're going to sell a hot apple cider on the way in or on the way out. So if you need to transport it, always consider bringing it in a crock pot or asking Starbucks or coffee shop or something like that to donate one of those coffee travelers that'll keep it warm. So some of the best fundraisers around this time of year are going to be crafty things and craft sales, holiday bazaars. So these are the things that I mentioned at the beginning of webinar. So at the end of this fundraising bucket, where to sell your items. So there's holiday markets, farmers markets, craft sales, church bazaars. These are going to be very common around this time of year. And again, the world is your oyster. There's so many different things that you can make that you can sell at a holiday bazaar. So get your friends to come over one night, put a Christmas movie, some music, have a laugh, maybe some sweets or some treats, some hot chocolate, some whipped cream, make a hot chocolate stand or something like that, and get your friends over and start being crafty. So I've seen do-it-yourself scent candles working really well. I've seen lots of these mason jars this year. So filling mason jars with snacks or treats, or filling mason jars with actually mixes. So things like cookie mixes or hot chocolate mixes, and having them in layers works really, really well, and they look really sharp. It looks really beautiful. So find a spot where you can sell these things is going to be really important. So reaching out to all of your community markets or holiday sales, it shouldn't be too to find online. A lot of fundraisers are finding success finding Christmas markets by connecting to their local Facebook groups. So a lot of these small towns or local communities have like a bottle trade type of Facebook group where people can communicate different opportunities like this. So looking at that, seeing if there's maybe a newspaper or classified section that advertises different craft sales, holiday bazaars, and see if you can reach out to somebody and secure yourself a table at one of these events. And then all of your beautiful handicrafts right there on the spot. For items you can sell to make a profit. So calendars work really well, especially in the new year. You can actually pull photographs and customize beautiful calendars. Maybe if you're going to India, you want to have pictures from India and pictures that you're pulling that are specific to your trip. You're passionate about women's empowerment or the environment, you can make that the theme of your calendar. You're bringing pictures of women who are motivating and inspiring women from around the globe, and you're highlighting pictures of them in your calendar. And what you can do is you can actually connect with a printer like Vistaprint is a good example. They'll oftentimes have lots of Groupons. You connect with them and you send them all of the images, and they'll actually print your calendars, and you can then sell them for profit. For cookbooks, you compile a group of recipes that are maybe holiday inspired recipes, or maybe make the theme of your cookbook something that's close to you, or maybe a vegan cookbook if you're vegan, or a cookbook that hides holiday cookie recipes or something like that. And you can maybe connect with a publisher who might be willing to publish it for you, at account, or donating that, or you can even just publish it yourself by going to Staples and binding it on the side, and you can sell your cookbooks for however much you will to make a profit. So if you're spending to buy each book, that would sell them each for $10 or $15. So you make sure you're making a solid profit. Move books to handmade card collections. Now this is an amazing time of year, obviously, for holiday cards. People are buying these in bulk so that they can send them to their friends over the world. You could be making these really lovely custom holiday cards, put them in a little collection so people can buy them in packs of 10, and then you're able to make a profit. You could make them quite simple, just like this, or you can make them pretty extravagant. There's lots of different ways that you could make holiday handmade card collections. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be holiday. You could make a collection of cards that are maybe a mix of the different holidays. Maybe you've got some Valentine's cards in there. Maybe you've got some Mother's Day cards or thank you cards, or different types of cards in one collection, so people can buy a collection and use a variety of different cards for different occasions. But holiday cards are great. People do send lots of cards around this time of year. You can buy them and then decorate them and sell them for a profit. Fundraisers right now who are working on selling poinsettia plants or holiday wreaths. Now, a lot of organizations or nurseries who have programs that will support you in selling poinsettia plants. It may be a little late to start a poinsettia sale. However, what you can do is you can connect with local nurseries or little flower shops and see if they have different product that they donate to you, or maybe sell at a discount that you can turn and sell for a profit. People are quite interested in buying wreaths. Maybe you could buy plain wreaths and decorate them a little bit and sell them for a profit that way. But this is, obviously everybody's looking for this type of stuff. So you could, connect with a local nursery and see if they'd be willing to donate something for you to sell, or maybe give you something at a discount. Maybe it's closer to Christmas and they're able to, donate some overstock, or maybe some items that aren't quite perfect that you can then, obviously, you'd sell it. You'd let them know that, it's a smaller bush or something like that. Maybe they're able to sell them themselves because they're imperfect, but then you can turn around and sell them for sure. You wreaths or poinsettia plants into the center image, which is our amazing fundraisers this year. This is some really phenomenal work that she's doing. She's actually custom making ugly Christmas swords and selling them to her network. So this is just a small sample of some of the things that she's created. She's created so many amazing custom swords. She actually goes to a Value Village or a used clothing store or collects sweaters from people who are donating them, and then she buys the material at the dollar store to decorate them into these very extravagant holiday designs. So this is a really unique idea. I've never seen this done before. This shows that there are so many different ways that you could create an item to sell for a profit. So it's whatever you think your network would be interested in purchasing, or the people around you. know a lot of people who go to ugly Christmas sweater parties. Yeah. Lovely Christmas sweaters, and I say lovely instead of ugly, to our popcorn cups. Now this is a great idea because popcorn is one of the most inexpensive snacks out there, and you simply put it into these little plastic cups and sell them at, again, local production of a Christmas carol, or a small Christmas concert, or your Christmas pageants or something like that. People are there, watching, getting entertained, or listening to some carols, and you're selling popcorn to keep their snacking wants satisfied. It's a great idea because the popcorn is quite inexpensive, and you can make it look very festive by putting them in these little plastic cups that look like little snowmen. Oh, thing that I wanted to mention before we move into the next fundraising bucket is a website called FUNDSCRIP. Now, this is a fundraising program that allows your supporters to pay for their everyday purchases like groceries, gas, with gift cards that are bought through the FUNDSCRIP program. A percentage of the gift cards that are purchased is donated to you. So what you do is you go to fundscrip.com, you set an account, and you can actually sell gift cards for things like grocery stores or gas stations, or things that people are going to be naturally spending at especially over the holidays, and you can then get a percentage of the sale of each gift card donated back to you. It's a really unique and amazing process. We aren't actually affiliated with FUNDSCRIP. So I know in the past some fundraisers might have struggled with timeliness. So what you do is you sell your gift cards, and then you collect the percentage in an account. When you're ready, you request FUNDSCRIP to send you your funds in the form of a check. Now, sometimes this process might take a couple of weeks. Sometimes it might take more than 2 or 3 weeks. So you want to make sure that you're staying on top of your FUNDSCRIP account, and you're requesting funds that you've collected well before your payment date, so you're not waiting and stressing out about a check arriving in the mail. So you want to make sure that you have that planned in your timeline. But this is a really great program, especially around the holidays when people are buying gift cards for gifts. Also, they might be looking in the market for something more of a large ticket item, at tire or something like that. Maybe they're looking for a riding snowblower or something like that. They're going to purchase it from Canadian Tire, but they're going to buy a gift card first, use the gift card to purchase their snowblower, which they would have bought anyway, and you're going to get the proceeds or percentage of the gift card sale. If you have any questions about FUNDSCRIP, it's really well explained on their website, and they've got a great video to kind of walk you through an account. Great. Going to move into the fourth fundraising bucket, which is festive fundraising events. Now here, I just wanted to walk through a couple of tips and tricks on before your fundraising event, some things to keep in mind. So this is kind of a list of things that you want to make sure that you're ironing out before your event. So for businesses, you definitely want to set a budget and a goal when you're planning an event. You're going to want to pick a venue and a date first, because an event idea can be as amazing as possible, but if you don't have a place to hold it, it might it will not work. So before you even plan your details of your event, you want to make sure that you have a venue and a date in mind. Venue and a date and your budget and goal. Then start ironing out your theme, what type of event you want to have. You're going to want to secure a fundraising team to help you execute the event, and then plan out your event details. So do you want to have a band playing? Do you want to have food, refreshments? Do you want to have a raffle as well? So think of your event details around now. Then you want to start sending invites and advertise and really get people excited for the event. And then obviously selling your tickets, or coordinating how you're going to be making money from this event. So whether it's you're selling tickets or you're collecting donations at the door. I always say selling tickets is a great bet, because that way you've got them in your hand and you don't have to count on attendance if you've already sold the tickets. Even if people don't show up, you've got the money in your hand. This is obviously decorating and executing your event and maximizing your event with a raffle or auction. These are some things that you want to consider. So obviously make sure that you have these things listed on a piece of paper, and you've got your budget and your goal right next to these ideas or this list of how you want to go about planning your event. Some really neat holiday or festive events that work well for you, especially if you're planning events for around the New Year's. You really want to get started. Right? Events do take some time to plan and execute. Now, some of the events that we're going to talk about today aren't going to be as extravagant, and they might not take as much time. But when you're planning, larger scale events with musical acts and concerts, you'll probably want to start planning those at least 2 or 3 months in advance. So some that you can execute with about a month's time is some holiday movie marathon or a PJ party. So I thought about doing something like a Polar Express pajama party or something like that. I thought that would be really, really sweet, or a Grinch Who Stole Christmas type of event where you have everything in the shade of green and everybody wears green pajamas, and you put on the cartoon version of the Grinch and you put on the Jimmy version of the Grinch or something like that. So you can have a holiday movie marathon or a PJ party, which would be really cute, and you could sell tickets for that. Also have some sort of paint party. I've seen a lot of people paint wine glasses or mason jar mugs. You have everybody come over, buy tickets, maybe they BYD or snacks, and you actually supply them with the glass or the mason jars, and selling tickets for it like that. Maybe you listen to the Christmas music. You've got some Christmas movies on or something like that. You have an instructor come in. Maybe you instruct them yourself, get that type of paint. This would be a really, really cute idea for about the week before Christmas. I've seen breakfast with Santa events really well. Pancake breakfasts are really cute. So if you have access to maybe a cafe, or maybe your school has a cafeteria that they would be willing to donate, you could do a breakfast with Santa, or like a Santa take pictures with Santa photo op, like a Santa photo booth or something like that. That would be a really cute idea that you could use at school, or on campus if you're fundraising at university or something like that. But a breakfast with Santa would be really cute, and you could do something with pancakes, which are relatively inexpensive as well, and have your hot beverages and somebody dressed up as Santa. How cute. So love singing Christmas carols around this time of year. So why not have a Christmas concert or a Christmas carol presentation? And I thought it would be really sweet if you did something like this at maybe a senior center or an old age home, which would be bring the holiday spirit to all of the senior citizens there. You could either have a little jar on the side where people can maybe their friends and family are there, or maybe you could actually you could have a Christmas concert, but also selling an item at the as well. Maybe it's snacks, or maybe it's something crafty. But it's a really lovely way to bring some spirit to all the different people, and also potentially make some money for your fundraiser as well. So a Christmas quiz or game night. There's lots of really exciting games that are Christmas. For example, I have a version of Monopoly that's called Who'Monopoly. So it's, instead of all of the same Monopoly spaces, all of the spaces are kind of to Whoville rather than the spaces like Park Place and stuff like that. So you have a bunch of Christmas themed games, or have like a quiz night a bunch of different holiday quizzes, and you could sell tickets to that. If you want to do a quiz, I'm sure you could find a lot of websites actually have packages that you can download that have a whole collection of quiz questions, so you don't actually have to write them yourself. Maybe you have snacks and food, maybe you're having the event at a local pub, and maybe it's a price fixed menu. So with ticket sales of $20, everybody gets a pound of wings and play the quiz night and 1 drink ticket or something like that. But you'd have to coordinate that with the local pub and see if they'd be willing to do like a price fixed type of menu for you. The ever popular New Year's Eve party. And now if this is something that you're interested in doing, you're going to want to start planning and preparing right away, because people love to make their New Year's Eve plans well in advance. So think about, people around you would be interested in coming to a party that you're throwing. Make sure you've got decorations and entertainment and snacks. If you've got all of that value, you could actually sell tickets for quite a reasonable price. So something that you a good profit. So you could sell tickets for over $30, but make sure that you have some value in exchange for that nation. So whether you've got pizza New Year's party, or something to offer them for their ticket price. So you've got like a local band playing, or you're doing some sort of like entertainment type thing. And really cool, especially with the theme of the fact that you'll be traveling internationally, to have a party or an event that really highlights holidays around the world. So you invite people, sell tickets, you could have booths set up that represent all of the different places maybe that you visited, or all the places that you'd like to visit, or all the places that celebrate different holidays all around the world, or all of the different holidays that are celebrated at this time of year. You could have different food trucks, or different food stations. Would be really unique and really fun holiday idea that really celebrates all individual differences and our amazing huge world, and all of the different holidays that are celebrated. This picture here is a picture of Germany, and how their most traditional holiday treats. It's like these large, huge cookies, and they hang up as decorations, but also as a snack at the end of the holidays. A super cool fundraising event after Christmas is you could hold a re-gift party. You could sell tickets, and everybody would be responsible for bringing gift that they might have got around the holidays that they're super in love with, and then they're going to leave with something that they're trading in for something really cool. So it would be a really cool, fun re-gift party. Maybe you have dinner or some like mocktails or something like that to make it a little bit more fancy. You can make it a real classy affair. And a neat add-on to some sort of a fundraising event, or maybe an online fundraising event. And now even saying event, I don't even know if this would actually fall into event bucket, but I thought it might be cool. Is you actually put a bet that if you live in an area where it snows, because not everybody does, or it hasn't, but it hasn't snowed yet. So I think of where we're in Toronto right now, it hasn't really snowed yet. You could actually host a contest where the winner who guesses the closest date to the first snowfall of 2 inches or more wins a prize. So everybody who puts a bet in gets $2 for a bet, and the winning team or winning individual gets a prize of like maybe you'll go and like put up their Christmas lights, or take down their Christmas lights, or a pizza party, or a bottle of wine, or something like that. So this is a really neat, and I thought this would be a really kind of cool fundraising idea, taking advantage of the fact that we know it's coming. The snow is coming, but it hasn't really dropped yet, and this is the time where it'll be here any day now. So it'd be a neat kind of contest that you could hold to raise some money for your trip. So I'm going to jump into our final fundraising bucket, which is festive fundraising activities. So when we think of festive fundraising activities, you want to think of the fact that we do have some extra time around the holidays. Other than shopping and hanging out with friends and family, a lot of us will have some time off work and school, so we'll have some time around the holidays to be planning these things. So think about what you can do this holiday season to raise money for your trip. So what can you do? What kind of services can you offer? What kind of odd jobs can you do? What can you do with your person? So encouraging everybody to get out there and use your skills to fundraise around this time of year and taking advantage of all of the cool things that people actually need help with. Examples of that are obviously shoveling snow, and I know some fundraisers who are really taking advantage of the fact that a lot of their neighbors are going away this year, so they're advertising with their neighborhood that they're doing a snow shoveling service. So what they're doing is, everyone's going away in charge of shoveling their snow, and they're setting a small fee for taking the snow, in their stoop or their drive for the entire time that they're away, so that they get back from their vacation and everything is shoveled and convenient for them. So what you could do even is promote your services and maybe make a flyer that you can distribute on the neighborhood, really advertising the fact that you're willing to get out there and shovel snow. Maybe put your contact information, so if people change mind, I'm able to give you a ring or send you an email, maybe even better, to schedule you to come shovel their snow. Too. What a lot of people do on the holidays, or thinking about what people do on New Year's Eve, is they party, right? They like to party. So take advantage of that and schedule a bottle drive right after New Year's Eve, or every week in December, every weekend, you hit different neighborhoods and you target places who've had Christmas parties and holiday parties, and you collect all your empty bottles, bring back to the beer store or the recycling depot, and you can actually get money for that. It's free money, it costs nothing. You really just have to go and collect the bottles. It's always great to advertise this as well, so put together a flyer that speaks to what fundraising for, who you are, what you're passionate about, and when you're scheduling pickup. So maybe distribute a flyer on Thursday that says, I'm coming around on Sunday to pick up bottles. Feel free to leave them at the bottom of the drive, so it makes it easier for you. Make sure you've got a friend to help you carry it, or a parent. So you're going door to door, you've got a little team with you, and that'll ease the load as well. And I always say, not the most glamorous job, but again, it's free money, and it could really help you fill some gaps with your fundraisers, and especially if you're taking advantage of the fact that there's bottles and stuff hanging around a lot after New Year's Eve. You can also with local restaurants or pubs and stuff to see if maybe they'd be willing to donate all of the bottles that they collect over one evening or a Saturday or Friday night, and then they would donate all those bottles to you. That could be a lot of bottles. Everybody's favorite things to do this time of year is Christmas caroling. So what you could do is you could go around to your neighborhood, local restaurants and pubs and stores with your friends, sing Christmas carols. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a little jar that has donations on it, so that you can collect donations from people in exchange for your beautiful voice. You can even set up a fundraising event, like a Christmas carol karaoke night. That's a tongue twister, where you invite people over and everybody sings Christmas carols. It's like a karaoke type thing. You could even get a karaoke machine, which would be super cool. Awesome idea. And this is a really cool flyer for another gift wrapping initiative. Is you could actually have advertise your gift wrapping services. Maybe you have 1 or 2 nights where you just have everybody drop over their stuff and you wrap all their gifts, or maybe you do it on a rolling basis. People can kind of connect with you, and you could pop over to the place and wrap all their stuff. So maybe even setting up a stand outside a store where you can have some items that you could, or some supplies that you could wrap with. But I think it might work better if you advertise and you set up a specific day where everybody brings their stuff that that you can wrap, or making appointments that you can then pop over to help wrap their stuff there. With a little flyer, this is super cool. It's got a picture of Elle on it, which is super festive. So this year, at this time of year, parents are super busy. They're not Christmas shopping, they're not at Christmas parties, they're working, and they're so stressed out, and their kids have lots of time off of school. Maybe they don't have a lot of time off of work. What you could do is you could provide holiday babysitting, set up your own little babysitters club, and you could maybe provide it a parents' night out as well. So if you're babysitting while they're at a party or Christmas shopping, you could just encourage them to take a parent night out, and you have all of the kids dropped off at maybe a community center or church or at your place. You have crafts, and you have them read stories and sing songs and play games, and there's snacks, and you watch a Christmas movie. How adorable would that be? And I think a lot of parents would be really keen to participate in something like that. Also, like I said, I have a dog, and I hate walking when it's super cold out. She definitely goes for a walk 4 or 5 times a day. So I would love to have somebody help with help walking, especially if it's cold. So you could be, a wintertime dog walker, or when people go away on holidays, you could work to pet sit. I'm going away next month as well, and it's really stressful trying to find somebody to pet sit. So, you could make some serious money. I know that if you take your dog to a kennel, you're paying hundreds of dollars to have somebody watch them. But maybe you're not able to have the dog at your house. Maybe it's a kennel you can go visit a person's house and check on it and make sure it has food and make sure the litter's clean and stuff like that. So you could be a pet sitter or a pet checker in or on or a dog walker. So keep that in mind, especially the holidays when people are taking lots of vacations. Thing that I wanted to discuss, and this is not a fundraising bucket, but I wanted to talk about just a couple of quick ideas that you could take advantage of when you're fundraising around the holidays at school. So candy grams are super popular, and all you need to do is get those really inexpensive candy canes. People write little messages on them, and then they, have you deliver them to their friends or classmates. So this could be like a secret admirer or something like that, or it could just be like a little note of. But candy grams are very popular, and you could sell them around outside the cafeteria at school, and this is a good time of year to do that. Also, Valentine's Day is a great time of year to do these as well. But if you want to do them for the holidays, take advantage of that now. Same with the jelly bean or candy count. You can have the jelly beans be green and red or colors, or green, red, and white, or something like that, and they would be like a Christmas-themed jelly count. People would pay $2 to guess how many jelly beans are in the jar, and whoever is closest gets to keep all the jelly beans, and you get to keep all the money. Collection drive would be fun. You could even put a bunch of mason jars in all of the homerooms at school, and then you could have all homerooms compete to see who would collect the most change. The winner gets a pizza lunch, and you get to keep all of the change. This you could raise, up to a couple $100 this way, especially if people are putting in loonies and toonies and stuff like that. Great. And I know we just talked about tons and tons of different ideas, so that's why I always suggest that you have a notepad and a pen so you can jot them down quickly as we're going through things that are going to jump out to you. But this is an amazing time of year. It's so cozy. You're gonna come across a family that you might not have seen all year. People are going to be around you. Everybody wants to be generous and help and be in the spirit, really the giving spirit. So this is the prime time for fundraising, and it's really going to be the time that you want to make sure you're maximizing everything that you make. So a couple of things that we talked about today you want to make sure that you're doing around this time of year, so that you're, getting as close to your fundraising goals as possible. So it's not quite December yet. So this is, I want to make sure that I did the festive fundraising webinar well before December, well before Christmas, so that you have a lot of time to spend on making these fundraisers as effective as possible. So this is the great holiday ideas, but going forward, we're going to be doing live webinars about every 2 weeks, and we'll continue to go deeper into the 5 fundraising buckets. So today we talked about holiday ideas from all of the fundraising buckets, so we haven't really gone into each one of them in as much depth as possible. We will be doing another fundraising webinar. Really excited to announce that next week we're going to be doing another fundraising webinar on Tuesday, December 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we're going to be going really into depth on selling an item to make a profit. And I'm going to have a really exciting special guest come to that webinar who's going to talk about their specific experience and some of the things that they sold in order to fundraise for their fundraising initiative. So I'm really excited about that. We'll be sending all of the fundraising resources and the webinar invites to your email. So keep an eye on your inbox. It will add me to Facebook because I post links to fundraising webinars there as well. So again, next week, we usually have fundraising webinars every 2 weeks, but I have an extra special fundraising webinar next week on December 6th with a special guest, and I'll be excited to let you know who that will be. But I'm not going to tell you right now, and I'm going to have that webinar next week. So check your inbox, and I'll be sending the login details that way. And you always feel free to reach out to us here if you want to discuss your fundraising plan in more detail, if you have any questions, if you just need pep talk, or you need to get back on track, or you need to get more motivated. That's what we're here for. We've got a fundraising team to support you every step of the way. You're never in this alone. We've got your back. We're in your corner. So let us know if there's anything that we can help with. So I'm here now, and I'm going to address some of the questions that we had in our chat window. But also, if there's anybody who's interested in sharing some funding ideas that they've done in the past or they've seen work well, feel free to let me know in the chat. And I'm happy to unmute you so you can share with the rest of the group. I'm sure everybody would be so thrilled to hear from you. So please know if you're comfortable speaking in the webinar. If not, no problem at all. I'll just on this screen. So if you do have any questions, feel free to pop those into the chat window, and I will address those right away. And I do want to thank you so much for coming this evening. I usually try to squeeze webinars into 1 hour so I'm not taking up a ton of your time. I know I went over again today, so thank you so much for your patience and for coming this evening and spending your Tuesday night with me. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a nice tea and a snack maybe with you on the way. But I really do appreciate all of your hard work, and I know that every single one of you is just going to blow this out of the water, especially if you're using some of the techniques that we talked about and some of the ideas that are effective and that you can use this very exciting giving season. So with that, I'm going to put myself on pause, give everybody a few minutes to pop their questions into the chat window, and I'll start addressing those. We have an extra special little guest here today to share with you some amazing ideas that she's to take advantage of. So we've got Stephanie today, and she is one of the most amazing fundraisers that I've ever worked with. She's got some of the most exciting fundraisers on the go. And I unmuted Stephanie so she can share a little bit about some of her, especially your festive ideas, Stephanie. I know you're doing a lot of things right now, but I wanted to see if Stephanie would be comfortable sharing with the entire group some of the things that she's done. Stephanie, are you there?
Hi.
Great. That's so amazing. So I would love to hear a little bit about some of the cool festive ideas that you're currently doing.
As of right now, I am selling some poinsettia plants, which are very, very popular around the holiday season. And I ended up contacting a couple of local greenhouses near my town to see if they would be able to do a fundraiser with me. And I found the one that kind of cost the cheapest for me because I pay for the plants up front. But basically, I'm getting just under about $10 a plant profit going towards my trip. And afterwards is I created some order forms and those up at my own workplace, and I sent them with my parents to their workplaces to kind of collect orders from people. And then also attended a craft vendor sale in my town where I had order forms there so people could order some poinsettias if they wanted. I also had my Rafiki bracelets there as well that I was selling. And my dad and I also make this homemade toffee every year at Christmas.
Yum.
And so we were selling some of those toffee bars and suckers at this craft sale as well. And in that one day, we made just over $500. So I highly, highly suggest joining a craft sale of some sort and come up with maybe a few different products that you can sell there because it went really, really well for me.
Amazing. I constantly am seeing all of the pictures that you're posting of this delicious looking toffee and your beautiful poinsettia plants and the Rafikis that you're constantly selling out of. And this is what I mean. What Stephanie is doing is exactly what I mean when I say putting yours in all of the different fundraising cookie jar or fundraising buckets. She's doing, she's selling items, she's selling her poinsettias and her toffee and Rafiki. She's doing a bunch of different things at the same time. So she's not just putting all of her eggs in one basket, which is amazing. And Stephanie is a super, super busy. She's got lots of extracurriculars on the go, and she actually spoke on stage at We Day a couple of weeks ago, which is amazing. So she's super inspirational. She's got lots on the go, but this is something that she's able to carve time into her busy schedule to make sure that she's full track. So yeah, I just wanted to give you kudos for that, Stephanie. It's phenomenal. You're doing an amazing job, and this is exactly what I mean when I say maximize your fundraising. Do a bunch of different things kind of at the same time. Stephanie's also looking into sponsorships, right?
Yes.
Amazing. So she's already she's investigating sponsorships, and she's got an online fundraising page, and she's doing some stuff around the. So this is exactly a great example of maximizing your fundraising and putting your hands in all of the different buckets at the same time. So thank you so much for sharing, Steph. This is you always continue to inspire me, and hopefully your story and how successful you are currently is inspiring everybody else, because it sure does inspire me.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Steph. And I'm sure everybody was so keen to try some of those great ideas. So thanks again.
No problem.
Great. Does anyone else want to share at this point? Are you comfortable to share? Great. So looks like we've, I know we've gone over almost all of the ideas. So if there's anybody else who has any other questions or wants to share, I will just leave it here on this question page in case any other questions come in. But everybody is free to go. Thank you again so much for coming this evening. I'm really looking forward to seeing you next next week, and I'll be sending all the webinar invite and login details to everybody by email and through Facebook, so keep an eye on your inbox. But again, thanks so much for coming. I hope this webinar was helpful. If you do have any questions, pop them in the chat box, or if you have any questions, maybe that come up, for the webinar, feel free to email me. I'm always happy to help any that I can. All right, so thanks again. Happy fundraising and happy holidays.